So, during my work on Artifact 2A, I researched a variety of different leadership theories that have evolved over the past several decades. With the mindset of a future administrative leader, I determined that the transformational and transactional theories were most effective when looking at educational leadership. Because my former principal at West Wilkes Middle School embraced the research of Robert Marzano and required the use of his 9 instructional strategies, I wanted to take a look at what he had to in the realm of research on teacher empowerment leadership. So also as a teacher, I really valued him because I felt my students really grew from the research he did on the best practices in a classroom. And I really think that his research is effective. So I wanted to incorporate him into my Artifact too, as well. So also another great researcher, Todd Whitaker. We have at our school read What Great Teachers Do Differently, and I truly value that book, and I feel like that helped grow me and change the way I look at things in the classroom, as well as far as teacher effectiveness goes for myself. So I wanted to apply his ideas for in his book What Great Principals Do Differently. So in conducting the research as a practicing teacher, I began to realize that I was never really taught how to lead outside the classroom. Unfortunately, nothing in most traditional teacher preparation programs prepare teachers to be leaders outside their own classrooms. In addition to that enlightenment, I also discovered the importance of teachers learning from each other, and the principal being the lead teacher, but also being able to harness the capacity within the school and build, help let teachers build teachers. It's all about really developing those relationships with your good teachers and growing, the teachers that need help and, have areas for improvement. Now, as for 2B, my checklist for best practices include analyzing the current programs adopted at my school. Number 2, getting teacher input into the instructional practices that exist. Anything from differentiation to technology, to assistance with effective PLC use. Number 3, surveying teachers on how they would like to be recognized and working with administration to provide teachers with praise, which I do feel is really important. Number 4, proposing teacher walkthroughs with feedback slips for teachers to praise and learn from each other. And then number 5, proposing to administration that stronger teachers mentor beginning teachers like we've done in the past but are not currently promoting. Right now we have our curriculum specialist or instructional specialist. She's actually involved in the training of new teachers and helping beginning teachers. But unfortunately we share her with another middle school in the county, and so she is really stretched thin. And because we've had a higher teacher turnover in the past, we do have a lot of beginning teachers in their years 1 to 3. So I would like to kind of, build more teacher leaders by, facilitating that mentorship program between experienced teachers and beginning teachers. So here's my checklist, how well you can see it there, for my best practices for 2B, or just kind of the rough gist of it there. Okay. All right, now moving on to 2C. Next. The gaps that currently exist include the fact that on the Teacher Working Conditions Survey, 35% of our faculty disagreed that we have an effective process for making decisions to solve problems. 40% of our faculty also disagreed that we are recognized for accomplishments. In terms of growing our teachers at West Wilkes Middle School, 48% of teachers disagreed that professional development was differentiated to meet their needs. Now, in order to, to help teachers grow as instructional leaders, the principal needs to and has to be that lead teacher. And so my PLC would like to help, make sure that our teachers are getting what they need to be, to empower them to lead in the classroom and beyond. To place the gaps in order of need, my PLC will begin with discussing and promoting positive ways to ensure we have an effective decision-making process. And, consider our teacher's voice in that process. Next, we will focus on ways to recognize teachers for their accomplishments. Last, we will work on making sure that we are finding solutions to present on better ways to grow our teachers with effective professional development. I will work with my PLC next year to establish an action plan to implement ideas for teacher empowerment and leadership. I think it is really important as an instructional leader, but then also as a school administrator, to be able to delegate responsibilities. You got to keep in perspective, I feel like, that you are one person leading a school, unless you have maybe one assistant principal, which there again, you're two people. But the job of a principal and assistant principal, it encompasses so much. I do want to go ahead and start practicing delegating and then following through with, the actions that my PLC is doing. So, for example, my instructional specialist, she's part of my PLC. So, I can have her start working on a survey for professional development needs and looking at different professional development options for our staff based on their needs, which will help grow them. And while she's doing that, I would like to have maybe a smaller group within my PLC, like a PLC subgroup, to work on and beginning researching ways, that our teachers at West Wilkes Middle School in particular would like to be recognized. And then, all within the same time frame, I can begin the critical conversations between school leadership team and administration on ways to improve the decision-making process at our school. So, looking at some maybe different research-based practices to help make that a little clearer. And all of which I hope has a very positive impact on my school.